if you're here for Gorilla Tales, you came to the right place. To my immediate left is Don McLeod, who is an amazing, amazing gorilla. The other one over there is Adam Meir, also an incredible gorilla. And I am your moderator, Sandra Scheller, who at one time was Don McLeod's student. And so this is really fun. So without further ado, let's see if we can get our little video first, and then we'll get into it. All right.
You know, and during the process then I studied primates and I did a lot of movies, and I worked with a primatologist. I was going to say a proctologist. Yeah, I mean, you do kind of take it in the ass.
Let's not agitate the animal.
So I got a call from Rick Baker, multi-time Academy Award winner. They called Rick, and Rick said, well, you should see Don McLeod. He's a mime artist. And I went to the audition, smoking a cigarette and talking to somebody on the phone. She wasn't even watching me. So I went, and I grabbed the phone out of her and went, and I like hung up the phone, picked bugs out of her hair, knocked papers off her desk, then I ran out. They're gonna remember me. They're gonna remember me. And a few hours later, the casting office called and said, New York loved you. You've got the job. You're the new American Tourister gorilla. This was actually worn in the first American Tourister commercial, and then it cuts to me in the gorilla costume, and that's why the string is so big. Then the gorilla throws the luggage down the back stairwell, and then a lady gets the suitcase that she's carefully given to the nice bellman, and she gives him a banana. What's the statute of limitation on a stolen bellman's cap? You can't really plan what your next move is going to be as a gorilla, so it accidentally became a whole career. So I did all of these talk shows, Regis and Kathy Lee at Wake Up Dallas, Tonight Show I did with Tom Brokaw, and Get Your Ass Out of Bed, St. Louis. I became a famous gorilla like in a month and a half. There was one fair I went to, and somebody just stuck like a newborn into my chest, and they just came up and said, here, we want a picture, and I just kind of, there was something, because the mask comes out with the snout here, so I couldn't see what I was holding. For all I knew, I was holding like 3 rolls of salami or 2 St. Bernard puppies. The minute they put it in my arms, the baby flew up in the air, went up and was starting to fall, and I went, and I caught it, and there I was holding a baby, and they go, great shot. When the commercials ended, I got the suit. A long history of gorilla movies that came from being in the American Tourister gorilla commercial. I did a lot of films. I did Tanya's Island.
Your eyes, they're so blue. I know. I'll call you Blue.
Animals belong in cages!
I lived in South Africa for 6 months, and I was the resident gorilla and monster in Tarzan the Epic Adventure.
Tarzan! No.
I did trading places.
Loosen up, man! It's almost New Year's Eve!
The man with 2 brains.
Dr. Beckerman? It's him, all right.
I did a lot of films.
Corporal Cod, navigation. Reporting for duty.
So more of the gorilla on the run. Things are getting out of hand.
I have my arm chopped off because I'm in werewolf form and I attack one of the characters in the film, and she picks up an axe and hacks my werewolf paw off. How they created it was they took chicken bones, because we had chicken for lunch. They saved all the chicken bones, and Rob chopped them up and stuck them into this foam wrist. The problem was at lunch, all the flies were landing on my hand and feasting. Wrote and pitched a television script to major studio. They loved it. It was about my life as a gorilla. They called me in and they said, we're going to get ready to cast this and we wanted to talk to you. And I said, great. I would love to play myself. And they just looked at me and said, oh, that's not possible. You're not right for the part. You know, the gorilla moves are in my DNA. I used to just sometimes put the costume on and walk around the yard just for the hell of it. I'm 66 and I can still do this split. Do this split. Hey, the mosquitoes are going right in my ear so loud I can't even hear it. Right dead on. I forgot the question.
Be my Ipperman girl, and we'd be so happy in my Ipman world. I'm an Ipman, I'm an Ipman, no, I'm an Ipman. Why did I do it? And I'm a King Kong man, I'm a voodoo man, no, I'm an Ipman. I don't feel safe in this world no more. I don't wanna die in a nuclear war. I wanna sail away to a distant shore and make like a Ipman. You know they don't la 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 la.
Son kez görüyor olabilirsiniz. Nesli tükendiği için değil. Çünkü belgesel kanallarınız yarın kapanıyor. Neyse ki ek ücret karşılığında kanallarınızı tekrar açtırabilirsiniz. Hatta açtıracaksınız. Açtıracaksınız.
So, I would like you to meet Mr. Don McLeod.
Hey, thanks. Good to be here.
Don, tell me how you got started and your whole world and all this good stuff.
I was an only child in a small town of 95 people. We lived in a little farm in Mendocino County, a little town called Health. And I played alone a lot because playmates were far away, and so I really got interested in using the imagination. So then cut to, I was encouraged to go into theater, and I'd been in sports in my high school, and there was the theater people and the sports people. And there weren't really nerds, but the nerds of today would be the theater people of my era in high school. So I had a background in that, and I thought, I want to do something where I could be physical, and I went to Pasadena Playhouse, a school for actors. My classmates were a bunch of dead people. No. Now. And some are still alive.
I'm going to get to you in just a second.
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah, this guy's story is
I want you to
amazing.
see basically what this costume looks like, okay? Because there's so many different parts and pieces. And we're going to test you afterwards, okay? So as Adam was telling me, we don't call it fur, we call it hair. Did you know that? And if you look at what they look like, I mean, even the fact that you're putting the makeup on around your eyes, one thing you need to notice about Don, he has green eyes.
Blue.
Blue, sorry, darling.
We're very close.
Yeah. You know, so it's very interesting when you think about that. There's some really fun gorilla facts. So if I were to say, is it hot?
Whew. Up to 118 to 122 degrees in the suit with just a little bit of jumping around. And I've been hospitalized on 3 occasions. One was a really bad movie, Tanya's Island, with Vanity, Prince's old girlfriend, and I was the Beast, called Blue, because I had blue eyes, and drank too many pina coladas and danced too much the night before and didn't get enough sleep, and I went tits up the next day and was very close to dying in the suit. So it's a dangerous, anytime you wear a cosplay, a heavy costume, you guys know, you know, it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be a gorilla suit, it could be anything. You just have to be a little careful, because you get excited sometimes being in the costume, and next thing you know, boom. And Adam likes heat, but he's got stories of...
yeah, I have a little, I can't
Go
really,
ahead, Adam.
I can't really notice when it's too much, and luckily I have this guy on set with me, and he asks me questions, and if I start answering weird answers, he's like, stop. Cut. He's gonna take the suit off. He's gonna get off the thing. He just start hallucinating. It's amazing.
Yes, it's very
comforting. You start being very comfortable, very cozy, and then you just die from heat exhaustion.
It's true.
Seriously. So you gotta.
I was close to death. I had a heart stimulant put in me because, and then the producer said, "Oh, I hope he's okay. Will he be ready for tomorrow morning's shoot?" And I said, "No, he's friggin' almost dead." Sure enough, the next morning I was back in the gorilla suit.
How many pounds does it weigh?
The suit weighs between 30 and 50 pounds. The early ones I wore was about 48 pounds. And then when you sweat in it, I lose about 10 pounds, or Adam does, 8 to 10 pounds of perspiration. So that just goes right into the suit padding. It doesn't, so you're still wearing a heavy costume, but...
I shot a movie for 23 days in Turkey, and it was 18 to 20-hour shoot days. So then the suit cannot dry out. So every day the suit gets heavier and heavier and heavier and stinkier and stinkier and stinkier.
You put it in the bathtub and stomp on it like a drunken Italian.
Actually, my present from production was a bottle of perfume. Near the end of the shoot, they were like, "That's for you, and do not come back."
So the suits have a lot of different parts and pieces to it. It's not like you just slip it on. Like, for instance, what happens if they want to do something where they're walking and their arms, so the arms will have different lengths, and you can talk about that.
Yeah, there's gloves we wear, and they're kind of like those yellow rubber kitchen gloves, only they're high-end sculpted gorillas, and they're like actual size of a gorilla's hand. And then those are for grabbing things, you know, checks, beers, et cetera, et cetera. And then the long arms are for what we call knuckle walking, and they're about 1.5 feet longer than a human arm. And in the middle of the costume is a handlebar, so it's like a crutch, and you're able to walk. And they use that kind of thing in a lot of costumes you see in movies and things. There'll be arm extensions. So you have to get really comfortable, and Rick Baker taught me how to walk like a gorilla, you know. And then I went to San Diego Zoo and studied the primates there, and then Adam studied with me, and he'd been to the zoo because he loves animals in different countries, and here we are.
What's interesting is learning about the electronics. Like, let's say that Don and Adam want to move their face a certain way. Okay, well, there's somebody at the other end of the room with a remote control, and they'll go into that a little bit.
Yes.
Yes, so there's a bunch of servo motors in the head. They're controlled by a remote control, like a model airplane or one of those things. And every direction you move it, something else moves. So the eyebrow will move up, you go down, it goes down, and then the teeth and the mouth, the snout, and the lips. And
This
then,
is similar to all characters you see, like Tom Woodruff does characters.
Yeah, all the gorillas that you
the
see
alien
there.
characters in the movie Aliens.
So then you coordinate before the shoot. You coordinate with the actor, with the person who's working the remote control to be able to come up with the right scene. Like the gorilla gets startled, and he's like, so I will do that with my mouth, and in the meantime he's going to open the eyes and the eyebrows, and if he's angry, then I do that. And, you know, lifts up the lips. It's it's intricate choreography to be able to manage the right moment. So it's really cool to see the results.
So putting on a costume is one thing, but the bottom line is that with the training that Don and Adam have in movement, there were years and years and things that you figure out as a mime. I mean, it's not just like if you're gonna lift your arm or if you do something, but even when I took my classes from Don in 1973, those are things you never forget. And it's interesting because when you look at animals, one of our projects that we used to do was the fact that it's not just the arm movement, but that everything came from the center. So you might want to explain where you develop the movement that you have when you're doing this ape character, because it's so real.
Yeah, it just depends on what character you're playing. I mean, I've been other characters besides an ape, but it really comes back to the body control, because a lot of times in the ape suit, as Adam can agree with me, I'm sure, is less is more. So if you have just a head movement or a tilt, and your movements are all broken up in degrees. So in fact, I could stand like this and tilt, rotate, look, turn, and then we do almost robotics type of movement, flexibility of the hands. The mime work comes in, so you're aware of space. You have to imagine if you're playing a gorilla, it's between 250 and 400 pounds, so you're thinking you're heavy. So you're imagining the sounds of a gorilla walking on the knuckles, shaking the earth around you, being very heavy. And if you play a bird, like a chicken or something, you're totally different.
Also,
So
it's a famous disagreement between gorilla actors and directors. The gorilla is representing a really powerful, strong beast.
But they're
very gentle animal, and people that don't research that, they think that the gorillas are aggressive and they run and they yell and just aggressive all the time. And they're not. They're completely very slow, and they just look around and they take a leaf and eat it for 10 minutes.
And they'll
And
pick
it's
up
way more intimidating, to be honest, when they're like looking at you really slowly.
Yeah, they'll identify things by smelling, and then their focus will go somewhere else. So they might smell this, and then the gorillas will be, and it's off. They're not going to go, "Oops, I dropped the banana in my placard." Yeah. So that's one thing about playing gorillas. Most of the gorillas are CGI that you see now, but the nice thing is that practical effects, that's when real things are being used, real people doing real things, rather than just computer generated imagery. They still come to us and go, we'd like to do a real gorilla for this commercial or that film or whatever. And Adam just did an award-winning film up in San Francisco. What's the one Bill Murray voted
it for best comedy at the Twin Cities Film Festival, called Gorilla Wants Banana. Very original. But yeah, it's a really nice film. I mean, they still use them. I mean, I think what happened is that for about 10 years, they used CGI to save money on the actors and costumes and
Andy Serkis
and all that. But then they realized that it looks too CGI. And so now they mix them. So they get the actor to play the gorilla, but they'll put maybe a little facial
Yeah, they tried to put us out of work, but didn't work.
They can't. So
Pandemic.
Another film that you can watch now that is really, I don't know if you guys have seen it, called Bad Trip on Netflix. This is probably the most vile guerrilla work anyone has ever done on television. I'm just saying.
You're one of those vile people on television.
That's why I want to do it.
At the very end, we do have room for questions and things, so it just gives you an idea of what
We're near the end. Did they give us a
No,
little
no.
leeway because
Oh,
we
no,
had
we're
to-
fine, yeah.
Oh, I got 7:55.
Oh, no, we go to 8:30.
Oh, that's right.
We're good.
Womp,
We're
womp.
good.
I thought we were done.
So here's a picture of Don in his backyard. What do you think of that? Can you
That's
imagine
what
if
he
you
does.
were a neighbor and you saw that? What
Well,
would
my
you do?
neighbors just moved in. Literally, when this was an Associated Press photo. It was something. California actor goes ape in his yard, and it was me. And my neighbors were kind of looking over the fence, going, "Oh my God, what's going on?" Then the other shot that we don't have a picture of was me in a cannibal pot that was actually used in the Bob Hope. Bing Crosby movie, I forget the name of it, but it was actually the cannibal pot. And I was inside the cannibal pot, and I did a greeting card line. And the neighbors look over the fence and go, "There's a friggin' guy in an ape suit inside a cannibal pot. Can we get a refund on this house that we just bought?" And they're not there anymore, and I still am.
So how many of you remember American Tourister?
These are young people.
Good, yeah. I remember the first time I saw it and I just thought, this is amazing, yeah. And then I realized, oh my God, that's my buddy Don. That's my mime teacher. What I like is the fact that this character was able to travel around the world, right? You went to, tell me about the different places that you've been to. Here you are in Japan, so tell me a little bit about
we
where you've been.
did 5 or 6 jobs in Japan, different times, but promoting the suitcases initially, and then Mexico City and Canada and other places. And then Adam's gone to countries that didn't have gorillas or cameras.
Well, I went to shoot a film in Turkey when the coup was happening. So we had like armed people every day at the hotel showing up trying to see if I'm part of the coup as a gorilla.
Yeah, I told Adam we have a job for you. And he said, "Where is it?" I go, "Turkey." There's a, yeah, they were like,
literally the coup was happening right there. And then 2 years later, they wanted me to come to a city called Gaziantep, which is exactly when they wanted to come shoot a movie in there, talking about bombing the Kurds. that's like real life, method. Let's do it. And I said no. That was too much. But I went to Uruguay to shoot a Sprite commercial, Turkey twice, Florida a bunch of times, Rhode Island, Boston. It's amazing. It's so rare that people have these costumes that they will bring you all over the world. And
people often ask me, they say, "Don, so all of this is great, but what do you do for a living?" I said, "This." I play gorillas or movement characters in films, and so if any of you have interest, there's always a place to go and find something that you could do, that interests you, whether it's computers or movement work or.
Don played penises, vaginas.
Yeah, I played body parts, and my friend Bill.
AIDS bacteria.
Yeah, I was the AIDS virus in the commercial for AIDS versus condoms. And then there was another porno film that called, and my friend said, "Don, this is Ken Hall." Some of you guys may know Ken Hall. He's done a lot of horror films, and he said, we have a costume that we have to fill actor in. He said, "Would you rather be a penis or a vagina?" And I go, "Well, which suit is more breathable?" "Well, let me think. I guess the vagina." So I passed on that job. But sometimes survival comes from those kind of situations where you're not expecting that there'd be an opportunity to work. And here we are.
The next slide you're looking at, you can see how everything is so precise with the mouth, and that there is somebody with the movement. This is you, Don?
Yeah.
Right. And the next slide right here, Don has a show that he does, which is Buto, and you can see even who Don is when he doesn't have this costume on, and how he moves and all this good stuff. And the cool thing is that when I found out about Gorilla Tales, I actually went ape over it, because I've always wanted to know Don's stories, and Don's stories are really, really incredible. The fact that Don has a sidekick to work with, which is Adam, and this is one of my favorite things to do. I love going, okay, he's such a handsome man, he could be Charlie Chaplin, and then he goes from this to this, from this to this, from this to this.
The back's backwards.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? It's pretty cool. So you could see what Adam does on his break and what Adam looks like. And look at all the parts and pieces of his costume.
Yeah, they're actually, it's all hand sculpted, handmade, hand punched hair, one hair at a time.
The
It's pretty
suits,
incredible.
yeah, the suits cost between, probably, a really good gorilla suit cost between 35 and 80,000, and the costumes in Gorillas in the Mist were about 250,000 each costume that Rick Baker made, because they're hand vented. So they take a hair and they punch it in and pull it out, and it goes into the foam rubber, and so there's like be 10 specialists punching the hair in those suits, and it takes a couple of months just for one suit. So when you see hair, now they've got CGI though pretty good, so now an arm can move and you'll see the hair go up and fall back in place. So CGI can do a lot of stuff that when I first started seeing CGI they couldn't do, so that's a good advancement in technology.
So as you can see, both Don and Adam will put makeup on around their eyes. And why don't you tell me what you have to do to even prepare before you put that hair on? Okay, Adam?
Well, on the picture on the right, you can see it's a spandex.
Looks like a neosporin, like a neos, like what you wear when you're going scuba diving.
Neoprene?
No? Neoprene, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Neosporin, that's what.
Yeah, you put the cream on when you get hurt, right?
I use that too.
It's a spandex suit that is attached to it an anatomically correct gorilla muscle foam that when you put the hair suit on top, which we still call it fursuit, unfortunately. Anyway, then it fills out the right holes with the right spots, so it looks actually like the gorilla muscles in real life. Broad shoulders and the neck muscles in the back over there, and the thighs and all that.
I don't need all that, Pat. I have the natural.
I know. It's just for me. It's just for me. And then you put on the other suit, and then you put on the head, and then that's it. You cannot move anymore. You cannot grab anything. You can't talk. You can't breathe. That's it.
And people forget that you need a break, because once you get the gorilla suit on, then you're a gorilla. You're no longer the actor who's really hot and may need to take a break. You just, hey, where's the gorilla?
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean he took his head off? I need him here. You know, so they're very quick to promise to take care of you, and very quick to
just one more shot. Yeah, but we're gonna die.
One more shot. And it's pretty lethal. I mean, most people that played gorillas in films have either been on the verge of unconsciousness, or they've been in the back of a truck going to the hospital. Heat prostate. I almost died on Tanya's Island. It's a horrible movie. The Beast is good. I played the Beast, but not the costume's really good too. But Vanity was kind of, oh, Blue, you're so beautiful. It was kind of her first movie, and yeah. Well, no, she did Action Jackson. She did a bunch of films. She did about 5 or 6 films. Then she hung out with Motley Crue, and they said, "Here, try some of this." And that was her. She's gone now, but sweet lady.
All right, we're going to play a little game. Y'all ready for a game? Is it real or not?
Real.
You think it's real?
Yeah.
You're right. Real or not?
Real.
Not real?
Real.
Who says not real? Not real? You're wrong. It's real.
I got it.
Ready? Real or not?
Ah.
Adam, this is you?
Yes.
Okay,
The
this is
Guns N' Roses poster.
That's a
all right, next one. Real or not?
not.
Okay.
Hey,
Don?
every real gorilla walks around Manhattan
Hat on.
with a hat on, jumping on a suitcase.
Tell the story about the hat. That's pretty funny. You still have it? Am I right?
Yeah, I still have it. I keep everything. That's why all my ex-wives left.
I'm going to put this up here in case you ever want to get a hold of Don. And like I said, the book is really fun as far as, we've also got bookmarkers for you as well. And I thought what we would do is just kind of chat with you if you have any questions. We would love to hear what your questions are with Don and Adam. One thing I can tell you is when you get into cosplay and when you do have costumes, do try them on. It's not like you go to the store the day before and put it on and expect. You really want to be able to work things out in it, because if it can go wrong, it will. So do you have any questions? Yes.
I have so many questions, but we'll start with an easy one. Do you bring your own suit to work, or do they make the suit and you have to adapt to the one for the job?
We bring our own, because I own 2 state-of-the-art gorilla suits, and Adam is part of the franchise now, so I play gorillas occasionally still, but, oh, thanks. But Adam has taken over, so almost all the jobs, somebody will call me and say, Don, how much is it for a gorilla? And we have a partner, a guy named Robert Devine, who has a company called the FX site, and he builds creatures for movies and commercials, but he's our repairman. We go, oh no, the knuckles ripped off. So usually we have to provide the gorilla. I don't think there's ever been one where they said, well, we've got a gorilla suit.
Bad trip. They made it for me specifically.
Yeah, but, oh, that's right.
Yeah,
So
sometimes they want a different look that they don't have, and they don't want it to be recognized from another movie or something.
But there's not a lot of good gorilla suits around. That was an
There's
anomaly.
another company called Alterian. They did Terminator, they did Chucky, they do still Chucky, all that. And they just wanted a different gorilla, so they actually built me one from scratch.
But foreign countries too, where they don't have the special effects makeup people, there's just not enough work for somebody to go into that field. So they'll call us or somebody we know, and they'll say, we need 3 ostriches and a panda for something in Bulgaria. And so we benefit from having what's called a practical suit, meaning we have a physical suit that we can get an actor in and they can film it. So that's one advantage to having a costume. But to answer your question, pretty much nobody really has one already ready. And they go, oh, I need, well, that one company does. We shouldn't name them, but they have a suit.
Yeah, well, there are some companies that are trying to undercut the professionals, and they just build the suit and then they rent it out. And then the PA,
What happens though is
PA will go into it and it looks like...
Yeah, they put the producer's grandson in or something, and he's never been or she has never been in a suit, and the results are horrible. A Gorilla Glue, I should be careful mentioning that, but they had a problem because they had it wasn't just one person that played the ape. So some of the things, the ape is very sort of stiff and zombie-like, and they've done a good job with the costume, but they have to find somebody to fit the costume for that. So they have a suit ready. Producers go to them and they say, yeah, we've got a gorilla. Who plays it well? And we'll figure it out later. The owner of the company or Cousin Bob or whatever. So being a movement artist is really important to pull off a gorilla, because I studied with the great French mime Marcel Marceau briefly and others, and
I studied with the great mime Don McLeod.
Thank you. But
I studied with Don McLeod.
Yeah, it's important. Mime is really important in film characters because, and most great actors, I worked with Robin Williams, I played Peter Pan's shadow in the movie Hook, and Robin was a mime originally in New York, and he got this crazy idea he could do comedy. He gave up doing mime. He didn't give it up, but it was a part of his, you notice when he does characters, he's so wonderfully animated and he's just rapid fire with his brain, and that all came together. And so when I worked with him on Hook, it was a very small part. Peter Pan's shadow just did some shadow effects in the movie, and Robin says, "Oh, Don, you're the real deal, man. That's really good. I just dabble around, but you're the real deal." I go, "I'm the real deal," and here's like one of the great comedians of all time giving me a really nice compliment, saying, "You're the real deal." And I thought, "No, you're the real deal. I'm just a guy who jumps around and waves his arms." Yeah, so mime is a big part of it. I lost the question. Where were we? Oh, we're open questions.
We're going to ask, you had one more?
By somebody else.
Yeah, well,
Okay, way in the back.
Way in the back, yes.
How do they handle gorilla sounds?
How do you handle gorilla sounds?
That's one way. Another way is they can alter the sounds like I just made there, you know, with filters and things. On the movie Tanya's Island, they had to dub the sound. They said, "Don, we need you for a dubbing session." Okay, so I had to come in, put the gorilla head on to get the right kind of echo, and then they got a coffee can. And I made the sounds that I just made there into the hooting into the coffee can, and they recorded that and then futz around with it with a mixer, and you have a pretty authentic, so it could be like a big snarl, or it could be so it could be a very small sound. And gorillas are apes, by the way, they're not monkeys. Almost every project I've ever been on, they say, "Okay, get the monkey." I say, "Well, we don't have any monkeys." "What do you mean? Where's the guy in the suit? What's Don doing?" "He's an ape." "Oh, okay." It's not like it's derogatory, it's just different. It's like apples and pears. Pears, thank you. So that's why I hired him, he could finish my sentence.
Is there another question?
Yeah, sure.
Do you have a question, Lawrence?
Either one of us, we all know nothing.
Go ahead.
You said that there was like 5 people who kind of do what you do. Are you cool with them? Are you like rivals? Or are you all kind of part of the elite gorilla actors crew and you're all friends?
99% we're cool. We were sharing, you know, hey, we got a call like, "Hey, we get an arm. We have this good arm. Can you?"
Oh yeah, that
They
way.
give them an arm. They give us a head. They give us a bit. But
So
then
when-
some of them, there's a couple of companies that are just nasty.
When they did King Kong ride at Universal Studios, they called me and they said, "Don, we really need some help. We need a gorilla arm to use as a model for the arms on King Kong."
Yeah.
And so we rented out one arm, the right arm, the glove hand. That's the one with the sculpted fingers. So do they still have that King Kong?
I think so. Yeah.
Is it still there?
They found that on the tram.
Yeah. So King Kong's right arm is based on
Yeah, it comes down. and-
my gorilla suit made by my friend Dave Miller.
Who made Freddy Krueger, by the way.
Yeah, so he made Freddy Krueger, and then he was freelancing, and we were friends for years. And he made the gorilla suit that you see he made actually part of the suit that we still have.
Yeah,
We have kind of a hybrid now, because a guy named Robert Devine, who has a special effects shop in North Hollywood, made the arms and feet, and somebody else made the left arm, and then there's a guy that punches the hair. He's a hair specialist. And what else? That's it. Yeah, and the gorilla costume, I know you're all dying to know this, they have no genitalia. People have said, "Well, are you a male or female?" And I've been mostly male, but female. But when we did the movie Tanya's Island, I had a meeting with the producers and Rob Bottin. They said, well, he has a love scenes with Vanity. Does he have any genitalia? And Rob goes, well, I could sculpt one if you want. They said, well, what would that look like? And he said, well, I'll come back tomorrow. So he sculpted like a big porno penis. Yeah, with testicles. He brought it in and went, oh my God, you can't film that.
Forget it.
Yeah, it was too obscene even for a porno movie. So they go, all right, we can't use that. But if you look at, not that everybody's like a voyeur watching gorillas' crotches, but I mean, I do on occasion. Just occasionally, it's a weird. It had. Usually, you can't see a male or female. I mean, the female sometimes will have breasts that are pendulous to a certain degree, depending on them. And there's a zoo. One of the best gorillas I think at the LA Zoo I went to see when I was studying them years ago, and go, man, that gorilla is really fat. He's really lazy. He was sitting there, and the others were moving around. He was eating some leaves, and he like threw up, and his belly was so big that he threw up on his belly. And so he just went, I forget what he was eating, I think leaves, and he kind of like, and he looked at his belly and went, and he ate all his own bark. I went, oh, that's and I was doing it for a scene to bring back to an acting class, and I did that in the thank you. She's my banana wrangler. I did that for my acting class, but I took out the part about throwing up on the belly. But that's all I know. That's the vast sum of my limited knowledge. Yes.
Okay, so obviously it's a lot of work to put on the costume and all of that. What happens if you've got a bathroom emergency? Because I was, we all
here
have
comes
it.
a good story.
Okay, so there is no need for a pee break, let's just say that. It's literally you sweat out everything. You lose 10 pounds of water when you're in it. So I went days without going to the bathroom. You just don't have to. The other one is a problem.
Yeah.
Well, there's solutions too. On Trading Places, we had a giant Pepsi bottle. And they said, Don, you can't take the suit off and go to the bathroom. Just here's a Pepsi bottle. Okay, crew, camera, turn your head. The ape's gonna piss. And they go, I'm on a train like peeing into a Pepsi bottle. The other one was, we have this on a soon to be happening documentary, maybe, that Adam is working on my escapades. I was in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in Canada. And I had to go to the bathroom really bad pee, and I drank about 12 bottles of water and just sweating like crazy. And they said, okay, hurry, we need you back here. Everybody's waiting. Come on, go, Don, go. And so I ran, and the trailer doors on a Winnebago are about this wide, and the ape suit's this wide, but it is foam. So I said, okay. I got it unzipped, and it's one piece in the back, and I pulled it off like this. Hurry, Don! The guy's waiting out in front of the door. I said, just a second. And I pulled the suit halfway down, its big foam belly on the ape suit, and pushed it down kind of and sat on the toilet because I couldn't pee in the front because you have the arms and the chest kind of unzipped, they flop open. So I'm sitting here peeing for about what seemed like 7-8 minutes, and I go, oh, man, that's good. I'm ready now. And I get up and I turn around and look in the facility, and there's no pee. And I go, that's not good. I had peed like 8 to 10 bottles of water into the foam chest of the ape. Yes, it was disgusting. And the PA is out there, bad day for PA. The production assistant guy is going, Don, they need you. They're yelling. They want your head on a chopping block. Hurry. So I just pulled it up and got the arms in, they zipped me up, and as I was walking, I noticed there was like puddles coming out of my feet. Yellow piss puddles coming out of my feet. It's all in the book. Gorilla Tales, email me, I'll give you a signed personal copy. Okay.
We have some bookmarkers that we'd love to give you, and we're going to go ahead and we've been told that we have to end our panel, but we hope that we're going to see you. We're going to end with our one pose we were talking of doing. I'll do the ears, you can do the mouth, you can do the eyes. Are we ready? Okay, one. Here, no, we both.
I'm waiting for you to give a signal.
Okay, put your hands on your ears.
Not yet, say go.
1, 2, 3, go.
See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil.
Thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you guys so much.